Okay. First question, a blank line has an undefined slope. That would be a vertical line. Vertical lines are your ones that are x equals some number. Okay. Not horizontal. Horizontal lines have a slope of 0. Next thing, it says that we need to graph 2x plus 3y equals 6. Remember, we need to get that in slope-intercept form first. So to do that, I've got to get y by itself. We will move the 2x over to the other side. Then I will divide everything by 3. And I get y equals negative 2/3 x plus 2. So we've got a y-intercept of 2. My slope is negative 2/3. The negative goes to either the top or the bottom. It doesn't matter which one. I could go down 2 to the right 3. I could also go up 2 to the left 3. Either way would work. And there is my line. So today, we are going to talk about point slope form. Okay, you've seen point slope form before, so it should be kind of a quick review. We're going to do problems, then I'm going to have you guys try them, and so on and so forth. So we got a proof for our point slope form. The time we want to use point slope form is if we know the slope and if we know a specific point. So we're just going to suppose, since we don't know the other point, we're going to say the other point is just simply x and y. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to recall our slope formula, which was m equals, and it's normally y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1, but now we only know one point. So that's the point that we know, and then y and x we don't know. We're going to leave those as y and x. Okay, now all I'm going to do is just a quick, simple manipulation. I'm going to take both sides times x minus x sub 1, which will cancel it over here on the right, and I end up with m times x minus x sub 1 equals y minus y sub 1, which, changing the order of it there in red, that is our point slope formula. So there's point slope. Okay, and like I said, when we will use this when we know one point, we know a slope. So you'd plug in your slope here for m, and then you plug in your x coordinate and your y coordinate as follows, and then we'll be able to manipulate it and do some things. So starting out, a line has a slope of negative 2/3 and it passes through the point negative 3, 5. What's the equation of this line in slope-intercept form? Okay, so I have a slope and I have a point, which tells me that I want to use point slope form. So y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. I am going to plug in my slope for my m, and then I've got an x minus, my x coordinate is a negative 3, so I'm going to plug in a negative 3 in parentheses here. My y coordinate is positive 5, so I'm going to go y minus my positive 5. Okay, now, they said that they want our final answer in slope-intercept form. Okay, so I'm just going to try and get y by itself. The first thing that I should do is realize that two negatives make a positive, so that's an x plus 3. Then I'm going to distribute my negative 2/3 in. So when I do that, I have a negative 2/3 x, and then since that was a positive 3, I've got negative 2/3 times a positive 3. That gives me a negative 2. Last thing that I need to do, add my 5 to the other side. Okay, after I add my 5 to the other side, I get y equals negative 2/3 x plus 3. And we are ready to graph that equation if they would ask us to do so. Okay, so like I said, we've done this before, nothing super difficult. Okay, I want you guys to pause the video, and then I want you guys to try this on your own. Okay, so next slide then. We have a couple lesson practice questions here. You guys should have tried this on your own. And then after you tried it on your own, I hope you checked with your groups at your tables. Okay, just real quick running through. I've got 0, 15, so 0 is my x, 15 is my y. I'm going to have y minus 15, because that's my y, equals my slope is negative 2 times x minus 0. Okay. One thing here, this just happens to be a fairly easy trick. This is x minus 0. That's just x. So all I have left on this side is a negative 2x. You can also think, yeah, I'm going to distribute it, and then just know that negative 2 times 0 is nothing, so it doesn't really matter. And then I would need to add 15 over. Gives me y equals 2x plus 15. Okay, our other side of this, again, we've got a slope. I've got my x and I've got my y. So I'm going to go y minus 0 equals 3/2 times x minus a negative 24. Two negatives make a positive. Okay, so that's 3/2 times 24. It really is 3 times 12. So that's going to give me 36. So I end up with 3/2 x plus 36 equals, we got y minus 0, and again, y minus 0 is just y. So there's my answer on both of those two. Then, moving on, another type of problem that you guys have seen before and may see again, they give you 2 points. Okay, and they want us to find the equation of the line. Okay, so I can't use point-slope form because they give me 2 points. I don't have a slope. But I could find that slope between the 2 points. And to do that, I would need to use my m equals y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll take negative 4 minus 5 over negative 1 minus 2. It's going to give me a negative 9 over a negative 3, which gives me a positive 3 for my slope. So now that I know my slope, I can pick either one of these points. It does not matter which point you pick. You can pick either one of them. For this example, I'm just going to pick this one. I'm going to use my point-slope form now. So I will go y minus negative 4 equals 3 times x minus negative 1. Okay, twice this has happened here. 2 negatives make a positive. I end up with y plus 4 equals, let's distribute that 3. That's going to give me 3x plus 3. Then I need to subtract my 4, and I get y equals 3x minus 1. Okay, again, next slide here. I want you guys to go ahead and practice this on your own. After you do it on your own, go ahead and check with your partners at your table. Okay, hopefully you guys have had time to work through that. So again, we've got our 2 points, 10, 0, 16, and 12. So I'm going to use my slope formula. Okay, y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. It's going to give me a 12 over 6. 12 over 6 is 2. Okay, so I know my slope now. I can pick either of these 2 points. I'm going to pick this one. Reason I am is it has a 0. I always like to pick zeros. Makes it easier. I'll go y minus 0 equals 2 times x minus 10. Okay, distribute our 2. Gives me a 2x minus 20. And then again on the left side here, that's why I picked the 0, because it makes it easier. I got a y minus 0, which is just y. Okay, so you get y equals 2x minus 20. All right, one more type of problem that you guys will see. They may give you a table. Okay, so they've got a chart up here for how many hours you've worked and how much money you've earned. And they know that the relationship is linear. Okay, which if it's linear, that means we can do a y equals mx plus b. So it's asked us to write the equation in that form of y equals mx plus b. Again, I'm sure some of you guys may be able to figure this out in your head, but we do have this handy trick that'll make it a little bit easier. This table up here, all that is points. Okay, so they've given me 3 points. So it's really just like the last problem that we did where we had our 2 points. I just need to pick 2 of these points. So let's say I'm going to use these. Okay, I'll find their slope. So I'm going to go y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Okay, 245, 175. So that'd be 25, 30, 70, I think. Oh, I should have grabbed a calculator. 70 and 8. I don't think 70 is right. Hold on a sec. Checked with the calculator. I was correct. It is 70. Should have trusted myself. So I'm going to take my 70 divided by 8. When I do that, that gives me 875. We're talking about money here. So, I mean, you know, basically it says they're getting paid $8.75 an hour. So we need to set up, we've got our slope here. This is going to be our slope. Pick one of the points. It doesn't matter which one. I'll go ahead and pick this first one here. I'm going to go y minus y sub 1, which will be 175, equals my slope, which is 8.75 times x minus 20. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and distribute. Okay, when I distribute, that gives me 875 minus 875 times 20 is 175. And I get y minus 175 here. So when I add 175 to move that over, that ends up canceling over here as well. And I end up with my equation. So my answer is y equals 875x. Which if we think about that, that makes sense. If you don't work at all, you're not going to get paid any money. So x is your hours, however many hours you work. That's how much you get paid. All right, and then again, I want you guys to pause this video, try this one on your own. After you've tried it on your own, work with your partners, make sure it makes sense. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and do that now. Okay, so hopefully you guys have done this one on your own now. Let's see if this finished up. Okay, we've got our days, we've got our miles. We're talking about hurricane movement, so they want the equation slope-intercept form. Again, remember these are just points here. So I'm going to take my 2 points. First, find the slope. 375 minus 500 over 2 minus 1. Well, I know 1's going to be on the bottom. 375 minus 500. Oh, yeah, 125. My bad. So I had a negative 125. Negative 125 is my slope. Pick one of the other points. I'll do that one there. 1's a pretty easy number. So I'm going to go y minus y sub 1, which is 500. Then I've got a negative 125 times x minus 1. Distribute in. I get y minus 500 equals negative 125x plus 125. Okay, then I need to add 500 to both sides. Gives me y equals negative 125x plus 625. Okay, so again, essentially, guys, all you need to take from this lesson is our point slope form. Remember that your point slope form is y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. Okay, have that memorized. Know how to use that. That's essentially what our whole lesson was over today. Okay, you guys have homework. Okay, it's pages 190 through 193. It's just your set 6. We're going to do 1 through 12 all, 19 through 20. I believe on 19 you don't need to do part C, and I think 25 tells you need a graphing calculator. You don't need a graphing calculator. So good luck, and I'll see you later.